If you're looking for a cheap and reliable place to buy or sell your FIFA 23 Ultimate Team coins, check out u4gm.com and use code ELITE, ELYYT, for 5% off at checkout. Well, boys, we knew it was coming. FUT Birthday's loading screen is here. It's going to be dropping on Friday. FUT Birthday starts in 3 days, 7 hours, but on top of the FUT Birthday cards, as you just saw, there's icons as well. And when you combine that hype with everything we talked about in yesterday's video, the new free Premier League cards you're getting out of objectives and SBCs, along with the international break that is taking club games and UCL games and getting rid of those for 2 weeks, and all of that combined leads to a huge market crash that just seems to get worse every single day. Now, if you didn't liquidate, and I sold everything except for one card, and to be honest, I thought that, yeah, I might lose 10, 20K on Atal, but I was using him in my team, so I decided to hold on to him. This card was 290, 300K. He's back down to 240, and that is honestly putting it lightly in comparison to some of the other cards that have been dropping in the last 24 hours, in the last 72 hours, I guess I should say, because if you take a look at these cards, the ones that have dropped the most over the course of the last day or so, you've got Marcos Llorente, who is a card that is probably going to get a few upgrades once club games return on about April 1st, and throughout the month of April, he's going to get a couple of upgrades. He's gone from about 1.6 million coins over that all the way down to about 1 million coins. He's dropped another 40K over the last hour. And the question from everybody in my comments is, when is this going to stop? When is the market crash going to end? And that's a very difficult thing to predict, but I'm not going to go out here and say, oh, sometime in the next 7 days, oh, sometime in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to try to actually predict when the best time to buy these cards are going to be. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I feel like a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people in their predictions have just been super vague because they don't know. And the truth is, it is very hard to tell. So being safe, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm going to give you guys my opinion on when I think these cards are going to hit their low point and when you guys are safe to buy. So with these FUT Birthday cards like Milan Skriniar, who, by the way, did get injured before his last match. He came on in the second half, but then in the next game he didn't play, which was the first game qualified for him to get an upgrade. They ended up losing that match as well. So his card went from 220,000 coins down to about 113K. So he dropped in price by about 50%. And that's obviously a little bit of an outlier because he's injured. But if we take a look at really any of these cards, a lot of the hero cards have gone down. Emre Can, he ended up getting an upgrade because, or is subject to get an upgrade. They haven't gotten them yet, but he's going to get an upgrade because Dortmund won their match. So he's going to get an upgrade there. He also had his appearance, so he might get to 3 appearances by that third match, which should be about the after the first week of April. So he's going to get subject to another upgrade there. And with Dortmund's schedule, if they can end up not losing to Bayern Munich in Bayern, or in Munich, I should say, they could actually go 6 games unbeaten because the schedule gets a lot easier for them after that match. Of course, losing to Bayern is something that Dortmund are very, very good at and consistently do, though. So I can't really guarantee anything there. But for a lot of these cards, guys, we are seeing such huge drops, and it's just really hard to stay away from buying some of these cards, I'll be honest. What I would say is that since we've got so much hype going on right now in this current moment for FUT Birthday, over the next few hours, we could see a little bit more panic. People waking up, seeing that loading screen, and seeing all the potential icons and leaks for this promo. We've actually seen a brand new leak for Pedri, which is going to be an SBC during the FUT Birthday promo. So we're going to talk about Pedri, how his cards have started crashing, and then we're going to talk about some complimentary links. But this isn't the only leak that we're going to get. We're, of course, going to get some new leaks over the course of the next 48 hours, and all of that hype is going to bring down current prices even more. But in my opinion, I think that Friday is the day to buy. Maybe Thursday night, potentially, somewhere in that area is probably going to be the time to buy at least these FUT fantasy cards, because if you wait too long, people are going to start investing back into the hype of the next matches. Now, you've also got potential upgrades, so those could come out at any point over the next couple of days, maybe even today on Wednesday, and that itself could bring some hype to certain cards like Alexander Isak, who's going to get a +2, to Alexis Sanchez, who's going to get a +2, Emre Can, who's going to get a +1, like we just talked about, but Pedri is on his way. So if you want to invest in any of these cards, maybe you shift your focus over to cards that get a link to Pedri that don't play in the exact same position. Now, when you look at Marcos Llorente, who is a card that dropped a ton, it's because this Pedri card is contributing to the drop in price for Llorente because they play the same position. It's not like if you buy Pedri, you're buying Marcos Llorente to link with him most of the time. A lot of people would be getting that Pedri SBC and replacing that Llorente in their squad and just selling Llorente. So that card is a card that I would probably stay away from. But as we look at a lot of these cards that have crashed, I'm looking for cards that might be in La Liga, especially those that are La Liga and get a Spanish or Barcelona link. But you also have David Alaba, which isn't a terrible card as an investment, as his card is still live with the UCL Road to the Final. It is a La Liga card. It's probably the best La Liga center back in the game. And he's under 1 million coins for the very first time since the first 2 days of release. He got down to 947,000. Then, of course, Real Madrid ended up moving on. In the Road to the Final promo, he got as high as 1.5 million coins on February 27th. Then on March 13th, he got up to near 1.6 million. And ever since then, in the last week, he has dropped a significant amount every single day. And now he is down to 970,000 coins. And I will be completely honest with you guys, I am tempted to buy that card a little bit earlier, just because if this Pedri drops on Friday, which is pretty likely he'll come out on Friday or Saturday, then a lot of people might shift their focus back to La Liga teams, especially if that Pedri SBC is good value. So if I'm going to buy that David Alaba, maybe I pull the trigger a little bit earlier. Now, of course, you don't want to be buying right now, because if this trend continues over the next few hours, they're dropping at a rate of right now. Even if we use Alaba for example, at 5 p.m. yesterday, he was 1.164 million coins. He dropped 30K that hour. He dropped another 20K the next hour. Then he dropped another 50 to 60,000 coins. He rebounded slightly. And then over the past few hours, he's dropped an average of like maybe 10K to 20K an hour. So he's continuing to go down, but as you can see, the big steep drops are slowing down a little bit. Maybe not completely to the point where we feel safe buying yet, but you could see over the course of a few hours there, he only went from 150 to 1040. So maybe he's slowing down on this huge market crash that we're seeing. But a combination of all of these different factors are allowing this market to drop so significantly. And so we're seeing just huge drops in prices that don't seem to be stopping quite yet. Now, today, we're seeing, obviously, the hype for FUT Birthday. We're seeing the shift of focus go towards FUT Birthday. And for the time being, we've got to treat that like a pre-market crash. When Team of the Year came out, guys, I think you all remember how that crash went, and it never happened during the promo itself. And over the course of the last 3 weeks, all we've been talking about is, when is this FUT Birthday market crash coming? And it's here. So we've got to understand that during Team of the Year's market crash, it happened in the 2 weeks beforehand. And then with Black Friday's market crash, it happened up until Black Friday. And then in that weekend, prices actually rose. So I'm thinking for FUT Birthday, we're going to see something similar, where up until Friday, we're going to see drops in prices, panic selling, and nobody really has any demand to buy any cards. But once FUT Birthday drops and we see all these icon cards and we see all these FUT Birthday cards and the dust settles, once everything settles in with the FUT Birthday promo, then as the promo progresses and finishes, we're going to see the market finally recover. But here's the thing. We've had such a healthy market since Team of the Year's, since Team of the Year even started. the market has been rising because so many people saved their packs, they got more buying power, and they weren't afraid to buy cards anymore. There was no more panic due to an incoming market crash. Here's the market crash, and once people understand that the market settles, prices start to flatline a little bit, then they are going to start rising. And once they start rising and people feel comfortable, we're going to see something similar. But I don't think a lot of these cards will reach the prices they were beforehand. And I'm talking mostly those hero cards or those really meta cards that everybody's been using since the beginning of the year, like Gold Mbappe, for example. This card isn't going to get back to what he was before this crash because he was just too high in the first place. We were in a bubble that was bound to pop eventually. And right here you can see when the market crash began for Team of the Year, he went from about 1 million coins, and then he got to a low point right before Team of the Year at about 700,000. And then ever since Team of the Year happened, he's been on a steady rise up to about 850, 860K. And then here we saw a small little drop at the beginning of March. And then we saw the steep drop go from 770 all the way down to 540 now. And most of that drop has come over the last couple of hours. We can see that he was dropping beforehand, but now he's gone from 740 all the way down to 540. And I think that a lot of that is also coming with the Mbappe SBC that is dropping here in a couple of hours. Now, I don't know if it's going to pop up if I scroll down on Fut Sheriff's Twitter, but we do know that an Mbappe is coming to the game, and it might be dropping here in a couple of minutes, honestly. It really could. It's 6:51 a.m. my time. It could drop at 7 a.m. my time. Very, very possibly. So this card might be out by the time that this video goes up. And so when we're thinking of that Mbappe SBC, a lot of people are panic selling this card when realistically, it's not going to be anywhere close to the same ballpark of where that pricing of the 93 Mbappe Player of the Month is going to be, because it is going to be at least a 2 million coin SBC, because it was a 2 million coin SBC for the 92 rated Mbappe. Now, I don't think they should make the 93 a ton more expensive, but it's not going to be cheaper. So with this card, it's not in the same price range. And now we're also seeing a whole new market of people that can afford Mbappe. He's dropped in price by about 25 to 30% over the course of the last few hours, let alone last few days. So we're seeing a really low price on him, just in particular for that Player of the Month. But I also want to bring my attention to cards like Capdevila, which has been a super meta card ever since the release of his World Cup hero back in November and December. This card has been a very meta left back. In fact, I actually packed it back then, and I've been using it a ton before it got replaced by Ashley Cole when I packed his Team of the Year icon. But this World Cup hero card, as you guys can see, post Team of the Year, he actually dropped in price just a little bit, only by a few thousand coins, and then post Team of the Year has been rising and rising and rising and rising. He got all the way up to about 900,000 coins, and over the last couple of hours, he's gone from 820,000 coins to 720,000 coins. So a drop of 100K, and people are going to ask, do you think he's going to rise back up to 800 or 900 like he was? In my opinion, absolutely not. We're going to see these new FUT birthday icons. The power curve is going to quickly change. We're going to see FUT birthday cards that are going to be out of this world. They're going to push this promo hard. Packs are going to be a main focus as they have really, dried us of packs over the course of the last promo with FUT Ballers. Nothing in packs. Now they're throwing everything at us at once. People have saved packs. Content creators are going to be opening packs. It's going to lead people to buying FIFA points and all of that. And realistically, with Team of the Season just possibly 3 to 4 weeks away now, we know it's going to drop sometime in mid to late April. People are not going to be going back to this Capdevila card at any huge rate. Sure, there could be some rebound, maybe up to 740, 750. This card is not hitting 800K again, in my opinion. And that is because the power curve is finally going to catch up to him. Although he has been a great card, we are entering a new era of Ultimate Team, because I think you can really split up FIFA Ultimate Team in 3 big segments. The first 3 months, then that span of about December to March. And then once we pass March, we are entering the summer time of FIFA where EA get a little bit reckless. They're dropping team of the season cards that are better than team of the year cards most of the time. They're dropping summer heat, which I know is looking really forward, fuddies, all of that. It just gets insane once we enter into April, and you can kind of combine April to the end of the game in itself. It's a new era of Ultimate Team that we have to prepare ourselves for, and cards like this, and I'm just using Capdevila as an example, they're going to go down a ton, and I wouldn't be surprised that if about 6 weeks from now, this Capdevila card isn't 715K, it's not 615K, but it's somewhere more like 415K. And I know that's looking 6 weeks ahead, and a lot of people don't want to think that far ahead. They want to live in the now, but it's something that you should keep in the back of your mind as we get closer to that. So those are the type of cards that are going to get filtered out and going to get replaced over time. Sure, there's always going to be demand for that card. It's going to keep up to an extent, but again, the power curve is going to catch up to everybody, even Mbappe, who seemed like he was absolutely invincible to it. He is actually going down in price as well. So, in my opinion, if you're going to go in on fantasy cards, guys, the way to go is definitely with the pre-market crash idea. Thursday, Friday, I'm really liking because that allows us to at least see the market settle first. I think that we're going to continue to see a drop in price on today for Wednesday. And then maybe the market settles on about Thursday and Friday. And if you want to be safe, and I don't blame you, especially in a market crash of this magnitude, if you want to be safe, it is not a bad idea to just wait until prices start to rise a little bit before you buy. And I'm not saying rise for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm saying, half of a day where that card actually settles and isn't dropping at all. And then you buy. Sure, you're going to lose out on a little bit of the maximum profits that you could, but you also don't run into any issues to where you're buying too early and that card drops another 20%, which I think a lot of people probably made that mistake over the last 48 hours where we saw an initial drop and then a slight rebound, and then another huge drop. So people bought there at that slight little rebound where it rebounded for 2 or 3 hours, and everybody started panic buying as if the market was going to magically recover. Absolutely not. We're still in a huge lack of demand. Nobody wants to buy these FUT fantasies. Nobody wants to buy these UCL cards, and everybody's excited for FUT birthday. On top of the fact that they're getting free cards and objectives that are going to replace the tradable cards that are already in their squad. So all of that combined, you're obviously not going to see prices rising. And I think we're still going to have to wait a couple of days before we start seeing those rises. But nonetheless, we'll end this video with Modric, who's going to be the secret comment word of the day. If you use the word Modric in your comment down below, I'll make sure to drop a heart on your comment. And I really do appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video and hopefully liking the video because, commenting, liking, interacting with the video in any way, shape, or form helps us in the algorithm, helps the video do better, helps the channel grow, and that means the world to me. So thank you so much. Hopefully you learned something in this video, and hopefully you guys, even if you're losing a little bit of coins right now, get back on the right track as the market is due for a recovery here in the next couple of days. Just have that patience and make sure you are not making any dumb decisions over the next couple of hours with your purchases. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.